My name is Jimis Beauston III. Everyone calls me Jimmy. I live in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, and I am 62. Around June of 2011 was when I started having problems breathing and coughing a lot. And then I went to the doctor, and they kind of blew it off as just a cough. And it kept persistently getting worse. So I went to Dr. Rubano. She sent me to see Dr. Vogt. They took some x-rays, MRI, and saw the scarring of the lungs, and I was diagnosed at that point with idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis.
Idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis is a disease that is a relentlessly progressive lung disease where the lungs get progressively scarred down. The reason why someone develops this, we don't know.
Well, I was kind of in disbelief, with modern medicine, that you would learn that the only cure is with a transplant. And at the end of the day, here in the United States, that really is as I understand it from a lot of the research I did, and then also from talking with Dr. Whalen and Dr. Paletti, that here in the United States, that's basically to rid yourself of the IPF, is you got to rid yourself of those lungs that are diseased. And so a lung transplant is the only option.
When I really got sick, I had 5 large tanks of liquid oxygen in my bedroom. I was tethered to a 40-foot line that I had to use to keep oxygen flowing through my body, and I would go through those 5 tanks in a week. So it progressively got worse. In June, I got put on the donor list and was told that I didn't have too much time left. And then in July 4th or 5th, that's when I had to go to MUSC. That's when my health went down. One gentleman with white hair and a white beard stuck his face in my face. I asked if I was all right, and he said, and he looked at me, and I shook my head, and he said, "You're going to be fine." And then not too long after that, I don't know which doctor it was, but I had a doctor come do the same thing and told me that we have your lungs. Are you ready? If not, you're going to die. And I said, I'm ready. And next thing I know, I woke up the next day, new set of lungs.
What the hospital wanted us to make sure of was that when Jimmy came home, that he would have somebody here 24/7 for the first 90 days after coming home, and that the 24/7 care was to take a lot of the vitals for Jimmy, blood pressure, blood sugar levels, report that back to the hospital, keep a daily log early on of what he had for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Of course, he had a pretty strict diet because, after a surgery like that, and these are things that you learn along the way. The doctors can, and the hospital did a very good job in terms of trying to educate us, but your mind is in many other places too while you're going through that education process, and that's primarily the health concern of your brother in this case. But they did prepare us very well for what we needed to go through. I don't think that there were any surprises when Jimmy came home. I think that Dr. Whalen and the group there, they knew what we should expect, and we were very attentive to what they said we should expect, and I think at the end of the day it all played out the way that they had expected it to.
I think that Mr. Beauston has done extremely well. He was a very, very sick man at the time of his transplant, and we were very fortunate to be able to find lungs for him and to be able to get him out of the hospital actually very quickly. And I think that he's had some good quality of life, and I think that that he's living his life. And from my perspective of what it is that I hope to accomplish for patients is to give them a second chance so that they can live their life.
A getting back into my music. One of the things that really bothered me while I was sick, while sitting in this chair and looking out my glass window there, I could see the people walking their dogs and how a lot of us take that for granted. And I told myself I'd never take that for granted again. You know, they were telling me that that's probably the most invasive surgery you can have is a double lung transplant. So that gets kind of scary. But when you have no other choice, and you have 3 children you love, you sure don't want to leave them. So you make the right choice, and you trust in your doctors, and you believe in God and your family.